What's up, YouTube? Pink Reaper here, back finally with the final part of the Mega Pokemon breakdown for Pokemon Gen 6. Sorry, it's been a little while since I've done this, and also, as you'll note, I'm not actually showing off a replay in the background right now. This is a live battle of just two randoms. I actually have a bunch of replays saved that I could be using right here, but I actually just kind of want to save them for something else later. So for right now, you're just gonna get to see me jump from random battle to random battle. It's it's whatever. They're just there to be background. Anyways, in the last part we were talking about the viable Mega Pokemon. We went from OU to viable to now this. The last part here is going to be about the non-viable Gen 6 Mega Pokemon. Now, the thing is, right now I want to say this. When I say non-viable, what I really mean is that they're just not worth using over other Mega Pokemon, because Mega Pokemon have to be compared against two things. They have to be compared against every other Pokemon that can do the same thing that they can do, but they also have to be compared against other Mega Pokemon, because you can only have one Mega Pokemon on your team at a time. So, that sort of leads to this Mega Pokemon isn't necessarily bad, it's just not as good as this other Mega Pokemon. And starting off, we're going to go with Mega Alakazam. Mega Alakazam got a minor speed boost, a massive special attack boost, but nothing else really, and its ability is generally worse than normal Alakazam's. And this is the big problem it has. Normal Alakazam can use Magic Guard to take, no damage from Life Orb, from Sandstorm, from entry hazards, for anything like that. It can abuse Focus Sash so as to not die to something, I guess, because its Focus Sash can't be broken by anything other than an attack. And Life Orb Alakazam is actually stronger than normal Alakazam and takes no recoil. That's a really big thing. Now, I don't really think either are going to be too super strong in the new metagame, just because of because of priority, because of the move towards a more bulky-based teams, because of the move towards more Ghost and Dark type attacks and things like that. And Psychic typing is just not that great, but I feel like Alakazam just isn't any better than, Mega Alakazam, I should say, isn't any better than its normal form, so why waste a Mega slot when you can use just normal Alakazam? Next up is Aerodactyl. Mega Aerodactyl gets 150 base speed, I think it is, and I think it also gets 100 and something. It gets 130 attack or something like that, as well as the ability Tough Claws, which increases the power of contact moves. The problem is Aerodactyl doesn't really have a lot of contact moves to use. Why would you use Dark Pulse there? Anyway, it's stuck with Stone Edge, which doesn't count as a contact move. Don't believe what Pokemon Showdown tells you. Stone Edge is not a contact move. It was just a glitch in Pokemon Showdown for a while, where Stone Edge would be counted as a contact move. Earthquake, obviously, you want to use to fill out that Edgequake combination. But it's just wow, Magic Coat Smeargle, that's something. But again, Earthquake is not a contact move, so it's not going to get the boost. Mega Aerodactyl has a huge problem with priority. It's weak to both Bullet Punch and to Aqua Jet, and then it's neutral to Mach Punch. So it doesn't really have. Actually, I think it's either weak or neutral to every priority move. I don't think it actually resists any priority move, and it doesn't really get enough of a defense boost to take more than one. Plus, it's still weak to Stealth Rocks. It has no viable way to boost its attack other than Hone Claws, which, I mean, yeah, it gives you that boost to special, or not special, to accuracy, which helps with the, helps with Stone Edge. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble remembering move names right now. It's been a little while since I've actually played Pokemon, so I'm having trouble remembering moves and things like that. I mean, it does get the Fangs, Fire Fang, Thunder Fang, and Ice Fang, which it can boost. It can boost those attacks with Tough Claws, but again, it's just not a very good use of a Mega slot, because it's basically just a basic can't set up, has to just do what it does right out of the gate kind of attacker, and it's not that strong, so there's not really much to do with it. Mega Heracross is next, and I feel bad putting this on the non-viable list, because I honestly feel like Mega Heracross could be extremely viable, and I really don't think its potential has really been tapped well enough. It doesn't have... It loses a little bit of speed. It drops from, I think, 85 down to 75, but what it loses in speed, it makes up for in sheer insane attack power. I think it's 165 or 185 or something like that. It's got an insane amount of physical attack, and it does gain quite a bit of bulk. It loses the ability to work as a status absorber with Guts, but it does gain the ability Skill Link along with new moves that it learned this generation: Bullet Seed, Stone Blast, and Pin Missile. Pin Missile being basically a guaranteed 125 base power move now, as compared to Mega Horn's 120, which is incredible. And then you've got Rock Blast and Bullet Seed rounding out coverage, as well as stuff like Close Combat and things like that. The thing is that it's got that big speed problem. It can't really set up a Swords Dance and Sweep because of its speed. But I feel like with the move Sticky Web being a thing, slowing down opponent's Pokemon, I honestly feel like Mega Heracross could be viable. I just don't really think it's been used as well as it has been. This is sort of like when I was talking about Mega what's that Pokemon name? Mega Pinsir in the first video. Since then, Mega Pinsir has taken off. People have just started using so much Mega Pinsir. I've run into it so many times, especially in the upper ratings. When I was in like the 2600s, 2700s, I've since dropped down from that. I'm now much lower than that. But I just feel like it's not a Pokemon that's really been used enough. Now, as for a Pokemon that has been used enough, let's talk about Mega Gardevoir. Mega Gardevoir has two huge problems. Its first problem is Heatran. It can't get past Heatran with its dual stabs. Fairy Psychic is straight up hard resisted by Heatran. Psychic is resisted, Fairy is quad resisted. So yeah, even if you've got that hyper voice, it doesn't really matter. It can learn Focus Blast, which can help it get past Tyranitar, but the problem is an unboosted Focus Blast from it, even at max special attack, if it's against a bulky Heatran, won't one-hit KO it. So there's that. And then the other problem is Scizor, or really Steel moves in general. It doesn't really have enough physical defense to take a strong physical Steel move. Something like Choice Band Scizor will pretty much one-hit KO it anyways. And Mega Scizor will definitely one-hit KO it. Oh, you're not using Jolly Ments? What is wrong with you? And there's just that whole power problem. It's just not really strong enough. Its dual stabs aren't good enough. So you run into that, why use this over other special attackers, and why use it over, something like special Lucario? Like, Nasty Plot Mega Lucario is going to do a lot better for you than Mega Gardevoir will. Even though Mega Gardevoir does have really big special defense, that's pretty useful. But even then, I've on more than one occasion been able to one-hit KO it with Flash Cannon from an unboosted Heatran. So there's that. Next up is Mega Aggron. Mega Aggron's just not good. It's like actually bad. That's just the fact of the matter. Mega Aggron cannot do anything. It's got an absolute absurd amount of defense, and losing the rock typing is actually a blessing for its defensive side at the very least, because now it's no longer quad weak to fighting and to ground. But it loses the ability to use stab head smash. It loses the ability rock head, so it can't use recoilless head smash for that matter. It gains an ability that does help mitigate some damage, but it's just so very... Why did you get outsped by an unboosted... What? I'm so confused. Didn't that... Okay, how did that even work? Because you definitely outspeeded a +1... Right? Yeah, you definitely outsped a +1 Salamence, but you're not... Wow, I'm sorry. I got so distracted by what just happened in the background. That I don't even know. Anyway, yeah, back to Mega Aggron. So it loses a bunch of really good offensive stuff, but it gains a lot of really good defensive stuff. The problem is, if you're going to use a defensive Mega Pokemon, Mega Venusaur is just so much better. Because you're pretty much stuck using that on a defensive team, and if you're using a defensive team, Mega Venusaur is just 100% better because of its ability to actually recover with synthesis, however you want to say it, because of its very useful to resistances to stuff like fighting in water specifically. It's such... Oh, and Fairy, now that I think about it, because Poison actually resists Fairy, I think. Or is it just Fire and Steel? Well, whatever. It's just not good. It's worse than a lot of other just straight-up normal defensive Pokemon, for that matter. And last but not least is Mega Bayonet. Oh, actually, that's not last. There's actually one other one I forgot about. Well, we'll go into him next. Mega Bayonet is... for all intents and purposes, like, it's a one-for-one kind of Pokemon. Most people just sort of use it to throw out Prankster, status effects, Prankster Curse, Prankster Taunt, whatever. And then when it's about to die, they throw out a Prankster Destiny Bond, and it kills something else. It's just not very good, to be honest. There's a lot better choices for a Mega Pokemon. There's a lot better choices for Pokemon in general. It's fine if you just want to steal that one KO, but I don't feel like it's worth wasting a Mega Slot for that. There's other Prankster Pokemon that I feel just work better for most of what it wants to do. Klefki and Sableye, in my opinion, are both better. I don't think they did a good job with Mega Bayonet. I always thought that Bayonet needed a third form, a third stage. What I actually wanted to see was Mega Bayonet turn into a normal ghost Pokemon. I thought that would have been awesome. But it didn't. So we're stuck with this. But it is what it is. Last but not least, and this is going to be another one where I say it's non-viable, but I'm actually kind of changing my mind on it actually as we're going along. God, I can't even remember its name. It's that one random stupid electric Pokemon. Give me 1 second. I actually have to look this up. Okay, I actually forgot 2 Mega Pokemon, and it was actually because I originally had them together, but now I'm going to talk about them separately because of one specific thing. The two Pokemon are Mega Manectric and Mega Houndoom. I want to talk about Mega Manectric first, because I honestly feel like Mega Manectric is actually extremely viable now, just because of how insanely good Volt Switch is, and that's literally it. I'm gonna make a separate video about this later, but moves like U-Turn and Volt Switch have become significantly more powerful in Generation 6. Because of the somewhat slower metagame, because of the fact that entry hazards are so now easily removed. Oh, hey, look, this guy's actually using a Mega Manectric. Because of that, Mega Manectric is now much, much better. Mega Manectric is much better than I initially assumed it was. Because it's a very difficult to counter Pokemon, since it can easily Volt Switch out on anything that would threaten it, because it's faster than most Pokemon at 135 speed. It's got 135 special attack and 135 speed. And it has access to an absolute ton of really good moves, in the form of Flamethrower or Overheat, obviously, and then the Electric Ice combination with an electric move and Hidden Power Ice. There's not a lot of things that can really switch into all of those moves well. Oh, look, you lost. But specifically, there's not a lot of things that can switch in and then have it stay in on them without just getting Volt Switched. Like, I run Assault Vest Conkeldurr. Assault Vest Conkeldurr easily beats Mega Manectric, but the problem is you can't keep Mega Manectric in. It's sort of like attempting to counter Rotom Wash. It's very difficult to do just because Rotom Wash can just Volt Switch out on you. So I feel like Mega Manectric is definitely now a viable OU Pokemon. I don't think it's going to be absolute top of OU. I don't think it's necessarily even going to be OU. It's definitely not going to be underused, but it's extremely, extremely good. Lastly, and I think finally this is actual 100% lastly, is Mega Houndoom. Mega Houndoom is not a good Pokemon. It got kind of the short end of the stick when it got abilities for the Mega Pokemon. It got Solar Power, which if Sun is up, it gains X amount of special attack. I can't even remember. And it loses HP every turn. Like, it's got a Life Orb, basically. The problem is that means in order to use it, you have to use that plus Ninetales, basically. You have to be using a Sun team. And it requires a ton of support, basically, that I don't really feel like a lot of people are going to want to give it, especially when you're putting 2 weak to Stealth Rock Pokemon on your team. To that end, I just don't see Mega Houndoom even having a place in the OU metagame. It's not super fast. It's not super strong. So it strikes me as not a particularly good Mega Pokemon. There's so many Pokemon that just are better than it outright. If you want to use a Sun Sweeper for Mega Pokemon, you could use Mega Charizard Y. It's just 100% better in every way, shape, and form. It comes in with Sun. It's got an absolute insane amount of special attack. It's just in every way, shape, and form better than Mega Houndoom. And that's really it. There's not really much else to talk about when it comes to the Mega Pokemon, at least. Sorry, I kind of went quick on these ones, but there's just not a lot to talk about for them. They're not good Pokemon, really. Some of them are. Some of them have niches they can fill, but in general, there's a lot of them that... Oh, gosh, dang it. It's actually on my list here, and I almost skipped it. Because I could have sworn I actually talked about this in the viable ones. Mega Absol. I could have sworn I talked about this in... Did I talk about this in viable? I could have sworn I put Absol in viable. Maybe I didn't. I wanted to. Why didn't I? Whatever. I have it listed here under non-viable with all of my information. I'm sorry. I've just forgotten all of these Pokemon. I'm so terrible at this right now. I should re-record this, but I don't want to because I'm already almost 20 minutes into it. Mega Absol is really good, okay? This is really important here. Mega Absol has not a ton of attack. It's like 100. Well, actually, yeah, it actually has a ton of attack. It's like 145 or something like that. And it also has 110 or 120 special attack, as well as 115 speed with Magic Bounce. That means it can't be Thunder Waved, it can't be Will-O-Wisped, it can't be Taunted, any of this stuff. It does have one huge weakness, which is to Mach Punch. It's kind of frail, and yeah, it takes extra damage from Mach Punch. But I think a lot of people are sleeping on Mega Absol. Its ability to set up with something like Swords Dance, the fact that it has it has very good attack and special attack. The fact that it's at a good speed tier at 115. There's not a lot of stuff that sits above 115. I think people are underestimating Mega Absol, and if I didn't talk about it in Viable, I want to actually say right now I feel Mega Absol is 100% viable. It's a very dangerous Pokemon. It's not necessarily bulky, so it can't really take a lot of strong hits, but it's at least bulky enough to take a hit. So I really feel like people need to consider Mega Absol if they're using a Mega Pokemon. It's a very good setup Pokemon. It has accents to Swords Dance, Sucker Punch, which is really, really good. But unlike Mega Mawile, it doesn't absolutely rely on Swords Dance, Sucker Punch to do all of its dirty work, because it is sitting at a really good speed tier, and it's unburnable. It's unstatusable, basically. Once it gets that outrage, that mega magic bounce going. So I honestly feel like it can be a very, very strong Mega Pokemon. That's it, I think, for reals this time. You know what? Let's switch to the list. Let's go through them all. Did it. Skipped them because they're Ubers. Got it. Skipped it because it's Uber. Got it. Yes, I think I did them all. Woohoo! There's all the Megas, by the way. Like I said, sorry for being a scrub and screwing up all of those the ones I forgot, but that should be everything. And like I said, sorry, this one's a lot shorter than the other ones. I went through them kind of quick because, like I said, there's not a lot to go on for a lot of them. A lot of them aren't really used, these non-viable ones, except for like Gardevoir. I just run into a lot of Mega Gardevoirs, and I don't know why. That Pokemon's terrible. But that'll be it for this one, at least. I am definitely going to do more parts for this. Like I said, I want to talk more about U-Turn and Volt Switch. I want to talk about the new moves, the new items, stuff like that. We'll be doing that in its own video. But for now, thanks for watching, guys. This has been Pink Reaper, signing out.